Hello, you are listening or watching 15 Minutes or Less, and if you're watching, you saw us doing some fantastic dancing there, but it's with me, Mabs, and...
Me, Amy, one.
Amy, number one.
There's a little
Definitely
bit of...
number one.
Oh.
Are you
Look.
pointing at me saying I'm on one?
No, I'm number one.
No, I'm one.
Okay, that was good.
Number
Is everyone settled down now? Okay, because this is an important and different episode.
I'm nervous.
We're on. Yeah, you should all be very nervous because today we're doing a quiz. I don't know what that is. Yeah, we're doing a quiz. So I thought it'd be better rather
quiz.
than. Well, rather than.
Get some drinks in.
What is with you? It's 11 a.m.
On a Monday.
on a Monday. Yeah, fine. Afterwards. So rather than talk about quizzes, I found that too difficult. So what I've done is I've set up a quiz for this episode. We have 16 questions, and each of the questions relates to the subject of each previous episode of the podcast we have done.
God.
So they're not necessarily about anything we did, so that's okay. It's just going back to all the subjects. So like the first question would be like something to do with animals, because the first episode was about animals.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's going to be quite quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what I would do is I will read you the question.
Yep.
Then you have about 10 seconds to answer, and then I will read you the answer, and then you score as you go. And then the winner wins a prize. Oh!
What is
Round
the
of drinks
prize?
at the pub.
I didn't say what the prize was, so
Round of drinks at the pubs.
probably
Pat on the bloody back of it.
whatever. So does everybody understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. And if you are listening or watching, you're more than welcome to join in. And if you don't want to, just turn off. That's fine. Right, here we go. Starting now. I'm going to put the theme tune on for a bit. Very low. Okay, right. So the first question is A. So that was animals. A snail can sleep for how many years? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3. A snail can sleep for how many years? 5 seconds to answer. 4, 3, 2, 1. Any guesses? Quickly.
One.
2.
The answer is 3.
Oh.
3 years. So, moving on to the second subject in the second. Yeah, I know. It's a long time, right? Which was bands for that episode, if you remember, all way back then. So, what does your band name mean is the most asked question to bands worldwide. True or false? What does your band name mean is the most asked question to bands worldwide. True or false?
The answer? True.
True?
True.
That's correct, it is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the third question, episode 3, which was C, and that was about crowdfunding. So I've got a question here about crowdfunding for you. The Pebble Time smartwatch is the most funded Kickstarter project of all time, but how much did it raise? $12 million, $20 million, or $200 million? We're getting very tense around the table here. I wish I had more like clock sound effects. I don't. I just have like these weird ones, like that. Do you want me to
200 mil?
200 million?
200 mil.
200 million?
200.
It's $20 million.
Damn.
Difficult. So on to number 4, which was drawing. If you remember, we did that wonderful episode where we did some art. So here it is. Here's the question. What's this? You got 5 seconds.
Scribble.
4, 3, 2, 1. And just in case no one can see that, I'm just going to hold it up to this camera. This is what I'm showing everybody. Okay, so the question was, what is this drawing, Amy White?
A scribble.
A scribble?
That's an abstract image of your age.
Oh, interesting.
Art.
Art. That's very good. I mean, it's me testing a pen because I didn't have time to do anything before.
So, does that mean I get that right?
But
You were angry over it, so it's the abstract.
that's a very good artistic. You see, what I'm thinking is like, you know, I like Amy White's answer in terms of how close it was to what I put down as the answer, but Parasty's just made that worth something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give
I called it art.
1 point.
No.
Parasty also gets a point.
This isn't fair.
Well, oh, sorry, is there something wrong?
I'm gonna leave.
No.
Go on then, you know where the door is.
Are you sure?
Get
Because
out.
we're about to go on to extraterrestrials. Ooh. So that was the letter E, episode 5. So, what date this year has the internet proposed that we all storm Area 51? What date in the year has the internet proposed we all storm Area 51? Is it the 20th of September, the 31st of October, or the 28th of November? 20th of September, 31st of October, or the 28th of November? When are we all meant to be storming Area 51? Amy White, do you have an answer?
20th of September.
20th of September.
I put 31st, and I don't know this. And
Well, the 31st of October, so
yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween, it's not a bad guess. It's wrong,
I was going to
Yeah.
but it's not, it is the 20th of September. The internet wants you all to storm Area 51 because, of course, they can't stop all of us.
We are going.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Good. Company outing. We'll put it on the business
For
card.
research.
So question 6 is on facts. Episode 6 was about facts. So I've got a true or false one for you here. So true or false, the CIA once tried to create spy cats. True or false, the CIA once tried to create spy cats. So have you all got an answer?
I'm going to go with true because it's ludicrous and yeah.
Okay.
I want it to be true but false.
True but false.
I'm going with true.
True. Well, I'll tell you what, this much is true. That's a terrible joke. Yeah, it's true. The CIA did try to create spy cats. The project was actually called Acoustic Kitty.
Oh, wow.
Project Acoustic Kitty.
That
So,
is mental.
yeah, actual facts though. So, I mean, why not, I guess. So I don't know if you can cast your minds way back to episode 7 where we talked about that show that somebody around this table has not finished watching, which is Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So here's a Game of Thrones question for you. Ours is the Fury are the words of which Westeros family house? Ours is the Fury are words of which Westeros family house? 5 seconds.
Ours is Fury.
Ours is the Fury. It's like the house sigil thing.
Oh, I forget the names of them.
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest one so far. Everyone's
Oh, no,
looking a bit
I
pondered
need
there.
time.
I don't know the name, but can I
Oh, okay, yeah.
hint at which one I mean?
Well, has everybody got an answer?
Yeah, I think.
We've got nods around the table. I've given you extra time there because I could see you all collectively struggling with that one. Ours is the Fury are the words of which Westeros family house? Which family?
Lannisters?
Lannisters. That is a family.
I've said the same.
The Lannisters.
What was the one with the Robert?
Robert Baratheon.
Yeah,
That's
Baratheon.
points for Paris too. It's House Baratheon. Ours is the Fury. Yeah. Lannisters was Hear the Roar.
Yeah, hear me roar.
Yeah, which is often...
Also,
I
they
never paid
pay
attention to
their
that.
bills.
Yeah.
They pay their debts.
Well, that's the one that everyone always thinks it
Yeah.
is, but it's not. That's just the thing that they say. So there you go. That's point to Paris too. That well done. So on to episode 8, which was the letter H, and we talked about horoscopes. So here's a horoscopes question for you. If you were born on the 20th of February, your star sign is what? If you were born on the 20th of February, your star sign is what?
Oh my god, I don't know this.
Difficult, isn't it? If you're watching at home, please join in. Tally your scores. Tell us if you did better than all of us. Anyway, we're back, and it's horoscope. So if you're born on the 20th of February, the star sign is
Pisces?
Pisces,
I mean, I want to say Cancer, but it's definitely not Cancer, right?
Cancer,
Aries?
Aries. The answer is Pisces.
Oh, no.
I mean, you have a few Aries sat around the table, Amy Blake. I thought you would have.
Yeah, sorry about that.
How did
That's
Yeah,
right,
I
not
think
offended.
it's kind of an April, isn't it? Aries?
It is, yeah. It is a kind of an April area.
I know everyone's birthday, I just don't know your...
That's right. We don't
Okay.
like you either, so it's fine. So we're on to 9, which was intelligence. Letter I, intelligence. Here's an intelligence question for you. Guess your score out of 16 on this quiz, and the closest correct answer receives a point at the end. Guess your score. So guess what your score is going to be at the end of this quiz. Tell me what you think you're going to get out of 16, and whoever gets the closest to their score gets a point.
So far. I'm going to go 5.
Okay, good. So everyone's got an answer. You can keep those answers to yourself for the end. Right, we're going on to number 10. Episode 10, we talked about jobs. So this is a reference back to the episode, if you can remember it. But what was the worst job in the world? Can anyone remember what the worst Paris? Do you know? Looking it up. I can see his fingers moving on the keyboard. Take a wild stab in the dark.
Oh, I know this.
What was one of the...
I know
I mean,
this.
there was a few we talked about, but there was one off of a list I read, which was the worst job in the world.
No, looking at my answers, guys.
Uh,
I've got it.
okay, everyone's got an answer.
Can I say before Amy, because she thinks I cheated?
Yeah, okay, I'll allow it.
Was it something about Mexican sewer? They were cleaning something.
No.
What have you put?
Sewer swimmer.
Specifically, it is a sewer swimmer in Mexico City. What have you got, Amy White?
I didn't know.
I was thinking it's something to do with poo, and I thought, no, that was just us saying.
I mean,
that it was.
that's,
I thought,
it
we
kind
then
of
we
is.
said politicians, didn't we? Or
I mean, that's
something
kind
like
of
that.
something to do with poo in a different way. So, yeah.
I remember there was something where it was like,
Do I get a point?
So, Paris do I'm going to give a point to as well.
damn it.
Yeah, and Blake, you also get a
I'm
point.
literally begging for points.
Yeah. So the next episode, when we got onto episode 11, we had the difficult conversation about the balance of all things, karma. So here's a question about karma. Karma Chameleon is a song by which pop band? Karma Chameleon is a song by which UK pop band?
I know this. I know the man who sings it.
Yeah.
And Tammy, if you want to do this in post, you can just add that music on underneath while they're answering, and everyone will go, "Oh, I know that." Karma Chameleon is a song by which band? Amy White.
Oh, I know Boy George sings it, but I don't know what the name
Curious
of the band
George.
is.
So we've got Boy George,
yeah.
Curious George, and Amy Blaker has put.
Well, I'm the same with Boy George, but I don't know the group name.
Yeah,
Hold
Boy
on,
George.
Hold on, let me think of it.
Well, then the time's gone. You can't. It moves on without you. Obviously, Boy George was the front person of Culture Club.
Culture Club.
Oh,
Yeah.
It would have
that's
taken me
so
ages to
annoying.
remember that.
Yeah.
So can I get a point for Boy George?
Since you've all put a version of Boy George, even Curious George, because let's face it, that's kind of.
George Boy.
Yeah. I'm going to give you all half a point.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's great, thanks. I hate you. Okay, so we've only got 4.5 minutes left and we've got a few questions to go. So episode 12, we talked about laws. So here's a true or false one for you. True or false, all hedgehogs in the UK belong to the crown. True or false, all hedgehogs in the UK belong to the crown. Not to be confused with swans belonging to the crown, but hedgehogs also, do they belong to the crown? True or false? Amy White.
False.
False?
False.
False?
False.
That's 3 falses. That is 3 correct answers.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, to be honest, they'd look great with the crown on, though. Just saying. So, episode 13, we discussed movies, and I want to ask all of you, what is the highest grossing movie of all time? What's the highest grossing movie at the box office of all time? You have a few seconds to answer. I haven't even seen this movie. Not really a big film fan, so
Oh.
it's
What?
not really a thing.
Oh no, I think I've got it wrong.
Anyway, movies. The question was, of course, what is the highest grossing movie of all time?
I was put Star Wars.
Star Wars. Which one?
Oh jeez.
Just give me a number between 1 and 8.
1.
Okay, good. Paris do?
Avatar.
Creative.
Avatar.
Oh, that was a good
I
movie.
put Toy Story.
Oh, but I've seen Toy Story.
Yeah, I thought you were being sarcastic. when you
No,
said
so
I haven't seen
Avatar
this.
was the highest grossing movie of all time.
Oh,
that's not anymore.
No, and Titanic was also up there, but it was overtaken just this summer by Avengers Endgame, which grossed
way.
2.79
Can I get a
billion.
point?
No points, no points.
Wow.
So we're on to episode 14, question 14, which was the nighttime. So which capital city has the longest nighttime on Earth? Which capital city has the longest nighttime on Earth? Wrong. 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 Yeah, capital city.
I'm
No,
afraid
wrong.
capital cities.
There we go. Nighttime sounds. Amy White, do you have an answer? Which
No.
capital city? Oh, I'm gonna.
Is it that place in Canada?
I'll give you all a clue. There was a reference to the country it's in recently around this table. Does that help? No, it doesn't help. It wasn't Mexico, by the way. I'm going to start on the other side. I'm going to go for Amy Blake. She's got an answer down there.
Glasgow?
Nope. Your love for Scotland just never ceases. Yep.
I wrote down Tokyo.
Tokyo, very good. And
No, it's somewhere where the night's really long.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
question.
but it's kind of the
Which
point of
is,
the question.
which is basically all day, because there's a place in the world where it's all day when it's.
Well, no.
September.
Specifically,
is it,
no.
Is it in Iceland?
The question was specifically which capital city has the longest nighttime on Earth, and that capital
which
city
capital
is
city?
Reykjavik. It's the capital of Iceland.
I would never have got that.
And Reykjavik, it has
I'm not
basically
good at
only
capitals.
just over 4 hours of sunlight on the 21st of December, usually. Episode 15, we
Near
discussed
Scotland.
oceans. We don't have very long left, so I'm really going to have to rattle through this. Oceans. How many oceans are there on Earth? Not to be confused with seas. How many oceans? Amy White, how many oceans are there on Earth?
7.
Oceans.
7.
No. 5 oceans. God.
I think I was thinking of the 7 deadly
Yeah.
seas.
Deadly seas? Deadly sins?
No, there's the 7.
Like, do you count the north and south as like one ocean?
It was
Is that how it works?
it was just ones that were called ocean.
Okay.
People, 2050 is meant to be India will be the largest populated country on Earth. True or false? 2050, India is projected to be the most populated country on Earth. It'll have the most people, thus the theme of people. True or false?
True.
False.
False.
It's true. India are forecast to be the most populated country by 2050. So tally up your scores, and then I'm going to go around and ask you to read your score aloud in comparison to what you guessed your score would be at the end. And if it is the closest to your score, I might put it this way. If you are right on your score, I might give you 3 points.
Great.
If you're within 1, you get 2 points. If you're within 2, you get
Great.
1 point. Okay, so we're gonna start with Amy White. What did you get as your score?
6.5.
6.5. And what did you think you were gonna get?
10.
Okay, so you're nowhere near. I can't even give you some bonus points for that. That's okay.
7.5, and I guess 7.
Right. So that means you get 2.5 points, Paris do. Very good.
Yeah.
And Amy Blaker?
I'm 4.5, and I guessed 5.
Okay, so you get the same.
Woo!
2.5 points. So that means that Paris Sue's the winner.
Finally.
Yeah.
Not Amy White.
I was even drawing so close
So
at one
happy.
point, and then I saw you go, yes. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our quiz on things so far.
What is my gift? What is my
Oh,
gift?
you get to present the next episode of the podcast. Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Hey, lucky you!
Well done,